everyone, welcome to People Coin channel. I hope that by the end of this video, individuals who are new to the channel will subscribe. Since tokenization is essentially the next big thing in cryptocurrency, we have been discussing it on the channel for a while now. We could spend hours discussing how hundreds of trillions of dollars will eventually be tokenized. So the issue with tokenization isn't really about how much value is attached to it. However, the main focus of my research on tokenization is not so much its worth as it is its participants. For instance, we nearly surpassed $20 billion, 0 cents, across the chain. However, if you examine the institutional funds that are now in circulation, you will notice that some of the names listed here are, for the most part, the real names that are associated with them, such as Republic, Securitize, Superstate, and Libre Capital. However, when you go past all of these, you're dealing about some of the most well-known figures in the industry, such as Hamilton Lane BlackRock, Templeton Franklin, It's kind of crazy how many names there are behind this space. Because, once more, if we review this space and go back to 2020 or 2021, we were discussing institutional players and how cryptocurrency would be the home of all the money and how the major players would heavily invest in it. Then suddenly, starting in 2022 and continuing to this day, we have seen that turn into a reality. Some others claimed there's no way it's going to take years for the big players to actually join into the crypto revolution. At some point throughout that historical period, the major banks are opposed to cryptocurrency. Whatever it is, they're afraid of it. The major players in the market, including HSBC, Bank of America City, JP Morgan, and other large banks, as well as major institutions and asset management firms, are all involved in the cryptocurrency space. And I think it's strange that it's occurring so quickly because, well, I was a little conservative with my timeline. I had anticipated a slightly longer time, but things are moving more quickly now, as if things are truly moving far more quickly than we ever imagined. We are thrilled to see this, and even if we look at U.S. Treasuries, we can see that the Treasury market is linked to billions and billions of dollars. In fact, there is currently $5 billion, 0 cents if we look at this. Okay, and while this may not seem like much, notice how quickly it is increasing even in the midst of market turbulence. This is still expanding and becoming a larger portion of the cryptocurrency tokenized industry. And players like Franklin Templeton and BlackRock through Securitize are speeding things up. I have been discussing Ondo a lot, and he is also a major factor here. The wisdom tree is now available, a few really big players. Furthermore, we bring this up since tokenization is still growing in importance as a component of the puzzle. Additionally, if we pay attention to the news, we can see that tokenization is becoming a lot greater concern overall. Goldman Sachs is prepared, Franklin Templeton is still growing, and CM Commercial Bank is ready. Dubai has said that government organizations are now integrating property tokenization with a real estate register. As we observed last week, they were preparing a tokenization project worth about $16 billion. Thus, it is evident that Dubai takes this very seriously. Naturally, the DTCC recently revealed a crypto push and tokenized collateral platform. This is a giant of Wall Street now. Every year, they clear $3 trillion in securities transactions. This is clearly a significant issue. We are aware of the 4 impending crypto roundtables that the SEC has announced, which is why I'm bringing up all of this. We have been keeping tabs on these. It will now begin on this month's 11th. The first is simply modifying the law to allow for cryptocurrency trading. However, as we already know, custody is the first step, and on April 25th, we will be focusing on crypto custody. Then, on May 12th, TradFi and DeFi come together for tokenization, which moves assets on the chain. Next up is DeFi in the American spirit. On June 6th, therefore, the fact that tokenization is beginning to garner a lot of attention even from regulatory agencies like the SEC, it demonstrates that tokenization is more than simply a trendy term. We can't just keep bringing it up here and there. Actually, it's growing into a far larger part of the world economy, and I believe it will only keep growing and spreading. However, on February 12th, Ripple published an article discussing crypto custody. In fact, they stated that fintechs had a $20 trillion 0 cents opportunity in the crypto custody space, which implies that Ripple has a $20 trillion 0 cents opportunity as well. 96% of organizations believe that cryptocurrency is essential to bringing in new clients. Fintechs that provide crypto and tokenization services must have safe and legal custody in order to satisfy institutional and retail demand. Since custody is the first step, as I mentioned before, we go on to Ripple's announcement from the 7th, which stated that tokenization will change the global financial landscape by 2033. resulting in a shift of between $0.6 trillion and $18.9 trillion. Why? Real assets like bonds and real estate, institutional adoption and regulation, and a quicker and more shoppable financial infrastructure are all important. The future financial age will be led by the organizations that take action today. I want to play this clip quickly, but I do hope YouTube doesn't muffle it because there is some music in it. In order to potentially prevent YouTube from muting any copyrighted music, I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit. I'm simply going to increase the pace by about 1.5 times. I hope it's not too quick. You are more than welcome to sluggishly watch the video, but at least watch it. By simplifying transactions and permitting fractional ownership, tokenization is changing financial markets and increasing the accessibility, effectiveness, and security of assets. Tokenization speeds up settlement from days to seconds and can cut costs by as much as 60%. Financial organizations are now openly adopting tokenization after first being hesitant. With this trend, tokenized assets are expected to continue growing and surpass $18.9 trillion by 2033. Tokenization will become a standard in the financial sector as adoption picks up speed due to network effects fueled by interoperability, efficiency gains, and regulatory clarity. Tokenization is the next big thing in finance, not simply a fad, and it's taking place right now. The tokenization process is changing. This is the next step in the evolution of finance, and it is happening right now. And I agree with this entirely, don't I? Even if we consider the current state of stable currencies, we can see that they constitute a significant game changer for fiat money because we are aware of the current course of action. In fact, it's bringing fiat on-chain to transform the cross-border repayment and foreign exchange markets, and because of RLUSD, it's taking place through players like Ripple. Furthermore, we consider some of the remarks made by Ripple workers, such as Reese Merrick, for instance. "We're getting close to the tipping point for tokenization," he remarked. This is what he asked. According to him, tokenization is causing a fundamental change in the financial industry by turning financial assets into programmable, iterable tools that allow for automatic compliance, fractional ownership, and round-the-clock transactions. Furthermore, according to Mark Simpeter, this is being pushed by a growing worldwide collaborative effort. Tokenization technology is transforming finance, mostly among the biggest financial companies. At Ripple, tokenization is converting financial assets into programmable, interoperable tools that allow for fractional ownership, automated compliance, and round-the-clock transactions. We are thrilled about the possibilities of tokenized technology, especially now that our new research with Boston Consulting Group, BCG, has been released. By the way, the first projection was $16 trillion by 2030. $3 trillion will be added to the tokenization market over the course of those 3 years, plus an extra $3 trillion from 2030 to 2033, which is really higher than the current market capitalization of cryptocurrency. For this reason, I believe that now is not the time to try to exit this market. As you can see, during the following 8 years, it's actually time to start sowing the seeds for the long-term future here. This market will grow very quickly. Furthermore, practically everything at the moment, including the pricing action behind many of these utility projects, has the potential to increase by 10, 15, or 20% right away. Although we are unsure of the multiplier effects, I am certain that, given some of these projections, the total space will be significantly larger than it is now. However, we have a report that examines the current state of the real-world asset tokenization industry and projects that by 2033 it may reach a value of about $19 trillion, 0 cents. And here, Ripple is establishing itself as one of the world's biggest financial tech